This video is about SHE tripped in the park until the billionaire helped her up, making her heart skip. If this story touches your heart, please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. The late afternoon sun poured golden light over Central Park, transforming the sprawling green lawns into shimmering patches of warmth. Laughter echoed from nearby, where children chased one another in a game of tag, their relentless energy a stark contrast to the serene beauty surrounding them. But for Olivia Hart, the park was a sanctuary, an escape from her chaotic life in the city. She often came here to think, to breathe, and to forget. As she ambled along the winding paths, the rich aroma of street food wafted through the air, fried dough, and roasted nuts mingling with the earthy scent of damp grass. Today, however, she had decided to indulge herself in a treat from her favorite vendor, a small cart tucked under the shade of a sprawling oak. The thought made her smile as she quickened her pace, her mind swirling with the anticipation of a warm churro. Just as she rounded a corner, lost in her thoughts, her foot caught on an uneven stone. Time seemed to slow as she felt the world tilt beneath her. Her body pitched forward, arms flailing desperately, and the churros she had been envisioning flew from her grasp. She braced for impact, expecting to make contact with the hard ground. But the ground never came. Instead, a firm hand caught her waist, pulling her back just in time. Olivia gasped, her heart racing not just from the near fall but from the warmth of the body behind her. She turned to find herself face to face with a man whose striking features seemed almost too perfect to be real. His dark hair tousled effortlessly, and deep-set brown eyes sparkled with a mix of amusement and concern. "Careful there," he said, his voice rich and smooth like aged whiskey. "You almost took a tumble worthy of a slapstick comedy." Olivia's cheeks flushed, a mixture of embarrassment and the undeniable chemistry crackling between them. "Thanks," she stammered, her heart still racing. "I wasn't exactly watching where I was going." "I can tell." He flashed a disarming smile and her heart did that little flip again. "I'm Lucas. You must be new to this part of the park." "Olivia," she said, gratefulness edging into her voice. "And yes, I guess you could say that. I usually stick to the quieter parts." "Ah, the tranquility seekers," he said with a knowing nod, his gaze lingering on her for a moment too long. "But it looks like even the quietest paths have their pitfalls." "Word of advice, always look down," she replied, a hint of laughter escaping her lips as she caught her breath. Lucas was magnetic, and she felt an inexplicable urge to know more about him. "Noted," he said, his smile widening. He hesitated for a moment before adding, "Would you like to join me for a stroll? I owe you a churro after saving you from that fall." The proposition caught Olivia off guard. She glanced down at the remnants of her would-be treat scattered on the ground. "Are you sure? I wouldn't want to impose." "Impose? Not at all. Besides, it would be a shame to let a little tumble ruin your afternoon. Let's grab that churro together. I promise I can keep you upright this time," he teased, his eyes glinting with playful mischief. With a nervous laugh, Olivia nodded, feeling a magnetic pull to him that was hard to resist. "All right, but only if you let me buy the churros. It's the least I can do after almost face-planting in front of you." Lucas grinned like a kid who just found out it was his birthday. "Deal." They walked toward the food cart, and Olivia felt a fluttering sensation in her stomach, a mix of excitement and nerves. As they approached, the vendor greeted Lucas with familiarity, handing over two perfectly golden churros without hesitation. "Don't tell me you're back for more, Lucas. You just had one yesterday." The vendor exclaimed, laughter bubbling in his voice. "It's a long story," Lucas replied with a dramatic sigh, glancing at Olivia with a conspiratorial smirk. "I'm on a special mission today." "Oh, really?" she asked, intrigued. "Yep, Operation Save the Churro," he said, taking a bite out of one. And so far, it looks like I'm succeeding. Olivia couldn't help but laugh, her heart warming to his playful banter. They walked together, the warmth of the sun wrapping around them as they found a bench overlooking a small lake. The scene was picturesque, with ducks gliding effortlessly across the water's surface, oblivious to the world around them. For a moment, they sat in comfortable silence, enjoying their churros, but Olivia could feel the tension simmering just below the surface. She stole glances at Lucas, who was watching the ducks with a thoughtful expression. "What brings you to the park today?" he asked, breaking the quiet. "Oh, just trying to escape the chaos of the city," she admitted, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. "I work at a marketing firm downtown, and sometimes it feels like I'm drowning in deadlines and meetings." "Ah, the illustrious world of corporate life," he said, a hint of sarcasm in his tone. "I can relate. I'm in real estate, and let me tell you, it's a different kind of madness." "Really?" Olivia leaned in, intrigued. "What's it like?" Lucas shrugged, a hint of weariness crossing his face. "It can be exhilarating and exhausting at the same time. Every day is a new challenge, dealing with clients, projects, and the occasional unexpected crisis." "Sounds like you need your own escape," she suggested, her heart racing slightly at his proximity, the way his warmth seemed to envelop her. "Maybe that's why I'm here," he said, turning his gaze toward her. The intensity of his stare made her breath catch in her throat. To find a moment of peace amidst the chaos. Olivia felt a flush rise to her cheeks. "Well, you've certainly found it," she murmured, feeling the air between them thicken with unspoken tension. "Have I?" Lucas's voice lowered, his eyes locking onto hers. "Because I can't help but think that this moment wouldn't be quite the same without you." The shift in their dynamic was palpable, the playful banter giving way to something deeper. Olivia's heart raced, the chemistry between them undeniable. She took a hesitant breath, her mind swirling with possibilities. "Maybe I should fall more often," she suggested lightly, trying to deflect the intensity building within her. "Only if it leads to more moments like this," Lucas replied, his voice low and smooth. "But I'd rather you stay upright." She laughed, but inside, she felt a flutter of excitement. Could this truly be the start of something more than just a chance encounter? "Who knows? Maybe this is just the beginning," she said, her voice soft but laced with hope. Lucas's gaze softened, a flicker of something unsaid passing between them. "I'd like that." As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the park, Olivia felt an undeniable connection with this stranger who had interrupted her otherwise mundane day. The world around them faded, leaving only the two of them, lost in the moment, a moment that felt impossibly significant, as if fate had conspired to bring them together on this sunny afternoon. Little did she know, this encounter would change everything. The sun dipped lower, casting a warm, golden blanket over the park, and Olivia Hart found herself caught in a moment that felt both surreal and intoxicating. She sat on the bench next to Lucas, the air thick with potential as they shared churros, their fingers occasionally brushing against each other, igniting a spark that neither could ignore. "Are you always this charming, or is it just in the aftermath of saving damsels in distress?" Olivia teased, trying to mask the nervous flutter in her stomach. Lucas chuckled, a deep, rich sound that made her heart flutter in an entirely different way. "I'd like to think I have some charm, but honestly, you make it easy. Besides, I can't resist a good dramatic rescue." Olivia raised an eyebrow playfully. "So, being a hero is part of your job description?" "More like a side gig," he replied with a wink. "I mostly deal with buildings and properties, not people falling over, but maybe I should consider a career change. Hero by day, real estate mogul by night." "Sounds exhausting," she said, laughing softly. I admire your ambition, though. It must be hard juggling both. It has its challenges, Lucas admitted, his tone shifting as a more serious look crossed his face. But I've learned to find balance. Between work and personal life, sometimes it feels impossible, but moments like this make it worth it. Moments like this, Olivia echoed, a breath catching in her throat. She felt her heart race again, aware of the weight behind their words. What the hell was happening? One second she was enjoying a solo park outing, and the next she was sharing a churro with a handsome billionaire who made her feel as if the world had shrunk down to just the two of them. He nodded slowly, his gaze never leaving hers. Yeah, it's rare to connect with someone unexpectedly, you know. I think we get so caught up in our routines that we forget how to truly enjoy life. Very true, Olivia said, her voice softening. I almost forgot what it was like to simply breathe, to just be. It's ironic. I live in one of the busiest cities in the world, and I find myself feeling so isolated sometimes. Lucas's expression shifted, a knowing look crossing his face. I get that. I sometimes feel like I'm just going through the motions, ticking off boxes, but when I'm here, it feels different, alive almost. Their eyes locked, and Olivia could hear the faint sound of laughter and chatter in the distance. But it faded away, leaving only the two of them wrapped in an intimate silence. The world felt vividly colorful, and her heart hummed with a mix of thrill and vulnerability. Do you come here often? Lucas asked, breaking the spell, though the connection still lingered. Not as often as I'd like, she admitted. I have a habit of getting swept up in work, but today I needed the break. I have a big project due next week, and I thought a little fresh air would help clear my head. Marketing, right? He asked, taking another bite of his churro, his eyes twinkling with interest. What kind of work do you do? Mostly digital campaigns, she explained, her passion seeping into her voice. I enjoy the creativity behind it, but the pressure can be overwhelming. It feels like I'm constantly racing against the clock. Sounds intense, Lucas remarked, his voice full of empathy. I can relate. The real estate market doesn't wait for anyone either. We're always in a rush, meeting deadlines, satisfying clients. Sometimes I wonder if I remember what it's like to enjoy my life, instead of just living it. You're not alone in that, Olivia said softly, her heart swelling with understanding. But I think it's moments like this, unexpected and genuine, that remind us to slow down, to savor life rather than just speed through it. Lucas nodded, his expression contemplative. You're wise beyond your years, Olivia, it's refreshing. She felt her cheeks warm at his compliment, and the butterflies in her stomach surged as unspoken attraction filled the air. I've had my fair share of life lessons. It's all about navigating through the noise, I guess. Wise and resilient, Lucas said, admiration etching his features. I like that. Olivia smiled, a little shyly, her heart fluttering at the hint of something deeper in his gaze. It's just part of being human, I suppose. We all have our challenges. True, he replied, leaning slightly closer, their knees almost touching. But not everyone has the ability to turn those challenges into something positive. That's special. The chemistry between them crackled like static electricity, and Olivia felt her breath hitch as she caught his gaze lingering on her lips before meeting her eyes again. And what do you think makes me special? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper, daring to push the boundaries of their connection. He hesitated, as if weighing his words carefully. You have this light about you, Olivia. It's like you draw people in without even trying, and I think that's something worth celebrating. Lucas, she began, but the weight of his words settled around them, thickening the air. There was an undeniable tension, a thread that pulled them together, weaving something new between them. Maybe we should do this more often, he suggested, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. You know, meet up for churros after work and talk about life. I could use someone like you to keep my head on straight. Are you asking me out?" She mused, a teasing smile on her lips. "Maybe I am," he replied, his eyes darkening with sincerity. "I don't know where this is going, but I'd like to find out. Life's too short not to take chances." Olivia felt her heart race as she absorbed his words. It was a bold statement, but something about his sincerity resonated within her. "I'd like that too," she said, her voice steady with newfound confidence. "I could use a little more adventure in my life." "Adventure is my middle name," he said with a playful grin, and the way his eyes sparkled made her heart skip yet again. "Well, it's not technically, but it could be. So how about it? Shall we make this an official thing?" "An official churro date," Olivia chuckled, her spirits lifting. "Sounds perfect." "Great," he replied, his smile widening, filling her with warmth. "I'll make sure to keep you from tripping next time." She laughed, her heart fluttering with anticipation. "I'll hold you to that." As they finished their churros and the sun dipped lower, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Olivia felt a sense of hope blossom within her. This serendipitous encounter felt like a new beginning, a chance to rewrite her narrative, to allow someone else into the chaotic tapestry of her life. Lucas stood, brushing off crumbs from his lap and extending his hand toward her. "Shall we continue our adventure?" Olivia took his hand, feeling the warmth envelop her as they walked side by side, a gentle tension thrumming between them. With each step, she felt lighter, as if the burden she had been carrying were slowly dissipating under Lucas's presence. As they strolled further along the winding paths, laughter and music from nearby gatherings filled the air. But to Olivia, it was as if all the noise faded away, leaving only their shared rhythm. The world stretched before them, full of promise, and for the first time in a long time, Olivia dared to believe that perhaps, just perhaps, her life was about to take a turn in the right direction. The park transformed under the soft glow of twilight, the sun bidding farewell as it dipped below the horizon. Shadows lengthened, and fireflies began their dance around them, twinkling like stars fallen to earth. Olivia and Lucas walked side by side down the grassy path, their fingers brushing against each other, igniting sparks of energy that made Olivia's heart race with every subtle touch. "So, what's your idea of an adventure?" Lucas asked, breaking the comfortable silence that had settled between them. His expression was relaxed, yet there was a glimmer of curiosity in his eyes, as if he were trying to decipher the layers of her personality. Olivia pondered the question, searching for an answer that felt authentic. "I suppose it depends on the day," she said, tucking her hair behind her ear, a nervous habit she had yet to shake. "Some days, an adventure is just exploring a new cafe or wandering through an art gallery. Other days, it's about jumping on a plane and going somewhere completely unexpected." "Sounds like you have a taste for spontaneity," he replied with a teasing smile, nudging her playfully with his shoulder. "I like that. It's refreshing to meet someone who appreciates the little things." His words warmed her. "I think life is too short to always stick to a routine. I've spent so many years tethered to my job, and while I enjoy it, I sometimes forget to fully embrace the world around me." "I get it," he said, his expression turning contemplative. "I've had my share of routine. It's easy to lose sight of what truly matters, but then you meet someone and suddenly everything shifts." Olivia met his gaze, feeling the weight of his words. "Is that what this is? A shift?" "Maybe," Lucas replied, his voice dropping an octave as he stepped closer to her. "I'm not one to rush things, but something about today feels significant." His eyes searched hers, and Olivia felt a brilliant warmth unfurl in her chest, as if the world had narrowed to just the two of them. "What if it's just a fleeting moment?" she ventured, her voice soft, tinged with a mixture of hope and trepidation. "Maybe," he answered thoughtfully, but even fleeting moments can leave lasting impressions. She smiled, her heart fluttering again at the sincerity in his gaze. "You're quite the philosopher, aren't you?" "Only when I'm inspired," he replied, a hint of playfulness returning to his tone. "And right now, I'm definitely inspired." They moved along the path, the sounds of the park fading slightly as they ventured deeper into the quieter sections. The air was cool, wrapping around them like a gentle embrace. Olivia felt a budding anticipation. The chemistry between them was palpable, an electricity that crackled in the air with every shared glance. "Okay, if we're going to keep this adventure going," Lucas said, breaking the silence and drawing her attention back to him. "I have a challenge for you." Intrigued, Olivia raised an eyebrow. "A challenge? I'm listening." "Let's find the best ice cream in the city. I know a place that claims to have the best gelato," he declared, the excitement in his voice contagious. "Gelato, huh?" she mused, tilting her head as she considered the idea. "I'm game, but fair warning, I'm a bit of a connoisseur when it comes to ice cream." "Is that so?" he asked, feigning surprise. "Then it's a good thing I'm bringing my A game, but if I win, you'll have to admit my taste is impeccable." Olivia chuckled. "Deal, but don't be too disappointed when I prove you wrong." "Confidence, I like it," he said, a spark igniting in his eyes. "But let's not get ahead of ourselves, we haven't even started yet." As they left the park and stepped onto the bustling city street, Olivia felt a rush of exhilaration. The streets buzzed with the rhythm of evening life. Laughter spilled from nearby restaurants, and the aroma of sizzling street food wafted through the air. It was a stark contrast to the serene environment of the park, but she welcomed it, drawn in by the vibrant energy. "What's your go-to flavor?" Lucas asked as they walked, a playful lilt in his voice. "I'm a sucker for anything with chocolate," she admitted. "But I also have a secret love for pistachio. It's a wild card, but it always surprises me." "Pistachio, huh? Well, now I have to try it," Lucas said, his competitive spirit shining through. "I'll stick with classic vanilla. Maybe I'll add some sprinkles for extra flair." "Sprinkles?" she laughed, shaking her head. "That's a bold move." "Hey, don't underestimate the power of sprinkles," he replied, chuckling. "They have a way of transforming the ordinary into something special." "All right, Mr. Gelato Genius. Let's see if they live up to your high praise," Olivia said, her heart racing with excitement at the prospect of their adventure. They walked side by side, the city lights twinkling overhead like stars, illuminating the path ahead. Each step felt electric, and Olivia couldn't help but steal glances at Lucas, his profile framed by the warm glow of neon signs. He exuded confidence and charm, and with each passing moment, the initial chemistry between them deepened. As they navigated through the crowd, Lucas leaned closer, lowering his voice to make himself heard over the noise. "So, tell me more about yourself, Olivia. What makes you tick?" She hesitated, caught off guard by the sudden intensity in his gaze. "Well, I guess I'm just a girl trying to carve out her place in a big city," she said, her heart racing. "I've always been passionate about storytelling and creativity. That's why I ended up in marketing. It's about connecting with people, telling stories through campaigns." His expression softened, and she could see genuine interest in his eyes. "That's beautiful, really. I admire people who can weave narratives. Sometimes I think the world needs more storytellers." "Maybe," Olivia replied, feeling a warmth bloom in her chest. "Sometimes I feel like I'm telling stories for others but not really living my own. Do you ever feel that way?" Lucas nodded, his expression thoughtful. "All the time. It's so easy to get consumed by obligations and expectations. I often wonder if I'm being true to myself or just playing a part." "What part are you playing?" she asked, intrigued by the vulnerability seeping through his confident facade. "A businessman," he said with a slight smirk, but it didn't reach his eyes. But I want to be more than that. I want to be someone who makes a difference, someone who connects. Olivia felt a tug of empathy, sensing the weight he carried beneath his charm. I think you already are, she said softly, finding her voice steady. Just by being you. The moment lingered, heavy with unspoken words, and Olivia felt their connection deepening, intertwining their stories in a way that felt almost destined. Lucas looked at her, and in that gaze she saw a glimmer of hope, a yearning for more than just a fleeting encounter, more than just an adventure for a day. As they approached the gelato shop, the vibrant storefront beckoned with promises of sweet indulgence. Lucas held the door open for her, and Olivia stepped inside, her heart fluttering with excitement and the unmistakable thrill of possibility. The shop was small and colorful, filled with an array of flavors. Olivia's eyes widened as she scanned the options: coconut, mango, cookies and cream, and of course, the rich chocolate she loved. "What are you thinking?" Lucas asked, leaning against the counter, his eyes twinkling with anticipation. "I'm torn," she admitted, biting her lip as she weighed her options. "Chocolate has always been my safe choice, but I feel like I should try something new today. Maybe a scoop of pistachio." "Sounds like a winner to me," he said with an encouraging nod. "I'll get a scoop of vanilla and we can compare notes afterward." Olivia grinned, excitement bubbling within her as she stepped to the counter. "I'll take a scoop of pistachio, please," she said to the server, who smiled and swiftly scooped the vibrant green gelato into a cup. Lucas placed his order, and soon they were outside, standing on the bustling sidewalk, gelato in hand. Olivia tasted her pistachio first, the creamy texture melting on her tongue, filling her with a sense of delight. "What do you think?" Lucas asked, watching her intently as if waiting for her verdict. "It's incredible," she exclaimed, eyes lighting up. "Sweet but also nutty. I think I've found my new favorite." "Looks like I have my work cut out for me," he said, taking a bite of his vanilla, the corners of his mouth lifting in satisfaction. "But you can't go wrong with the classics." Olivia savored her gelato, feeling the warmth of the evening wrap around them. As they stood together, sharing laughter and playful banter, she realized just how effortless this connection felt. The world around them faded, leaving only the two of them suspended in this moment. A moment filled with laughter, chemistry, and the promise. The humid air of summer wrapped around them as they strolled down the sidewalk, the city a vibrant tapestry of life buzzing around them. Olivia savored the cool gelato melting against her tongue, delighting in the way the sweetness mingled with the rich nuttiness of pistachio. She stole a glance at Lucas, who was finishing up his vanilla, a smudge of cream just below his lip. The sight of it sent a thrilling rush through her, igniting a warmth she hadn't expected to feel so quickly. "You have a little something," she said, trying to suppress a grin as she pointed to the corner of her own mouth, feigning seriousness. Lucas paused mid-bite, brow furrowing in mock confusion. "What? Where?" he asked, wiping his mouth with the back of his hand, only to smear it slightly further. She couldn't help but laugh. "Right there. I think it's still in the vanilla realm," she teased, raising an eyebrow as she stepped a little closer, feeling emboldened by the playful banter. He chuckled, a low and rumbling sound that vibrated through her. "Great. Now I'm that guy who can't even handle ice cream without turning it into a spectacle." "Hey, don't worry about it," she said, her tone light. "At least it's a cute spectacle." Their eyes locked, and for a moment the noise of the city faded into a soft hum. The connection shimmered between them, a thread woven from laughter and shared stories. "So, what's next on our adventure?" Lucas asked, breaking the spell as he licked his cone, the sweet creaminess contrasting with the heat of the evening. "Let's see," Olivia pondered, glancing around at the bustling street alive with people. "How about we find a street musician? I love live music, especially when it's unexpected. Music, I can get behind that, Lucas replied, his enthusiasm infectious. Lead the way, maestro. With a playful roll of her eyes, Olivia turned, leading him further down the street. They weaved through the throngs of people, the laughter and chatter enveloping them like a warm blanket. As they walked, she felt the excitement of possibility bubbling within her, each moment with Lucas promising something more. The vibrant sounds of a guitar caught her attention and she paused, gesturing toward a small square where a musician strummed a lively tune, his voice raspy yet full of emotion. There, that's perfect. They found a spot on the edge of the crowd and Lucas leaned against a lamppost, arms crossed as he watched the performer, a smile playing on his lips. Olivia felt a rush of warmth as she caught him glancing at her, and the way his gaze lingered sent a thrill through her. "What do you think?" she asked, trying to feign nonchalance while her heart raced. "Are we in the midst of a musical masterpiece or just another average street performance?" He tilted his head, listening intently, his brow furrowing in concentration. "I think it's genuine," he said thoughtfully. "You can tell he's pouring his soul into it." Olivia nodded, watching the musician's fingers dance over the strings. "It's refreshing, isn't it, to see someone so passionate about their craft?" "Absolutely," Lucas replied, turning his gaze toward her. "It reminds me that life isn't just about success and ambition. It's about finding joy in the little things." Their eyes met again, and Olivia felt a rush of vulnerability wash over her. "I think you're absolutely right," she said softly. "Sometimes I forget that in the whirlwind of work and expectations. Maybe we should remind each other," he suggested, a hint of sincerity in his voice. "You know, take breaks, enjoy life together." Her heart swelled at the thought. "I'd like that," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, laden with unspoken possibilities. As the song came to an end, the musician received a hearty applause from the crowd, and Olivia felt the warmth of the moment seep into her bones. "I miss moments like this," she confessed, her gaze drifting back to the musician. "It's easy to lose sight of what truly matters." Lucas's expression shifted, a mix of understanding and admiration. "It's important to carve out those moments, to remind ourselves of the beauty in the world," he said, stepping a little closer to her. "And I'm glad you're here to share it with me." The weight of his words hung between them, an unspoken acknowledgement of the connection they were forging. Olivia felt her heart race, a rush of excitement mingled with nervousness. "You make it easy to be here," she admitted, feeling emboldened by the honesty of the moment. "Good," he replied, his gaze intense as he held her eyes, "because life's too short for anything less." As they stepped back into the flow of the crowd, Olivia felt as if they were moving through a different dimension, one where the noise faded away, and all that mattered was their shared laughter and glances. The energy between them pulsed like a heartbeat, alive and electric, and the city around them became a mere backdrop to their budding connection. They wandered through the streets, exploring shops and stopping to watch street artists paint murals and juggle. With each passing moment, Olivia's heart felt lighter, as if Lucas was helping her shed the weight of her everyday responsibilities. "All right," Lucas said, glancing at a small park nearby. "How about a quick break? I could use a place to sit after all that excitement." "Sounds good to me," she agreed, grateful for the chance to pause and reflect on the whirlwind of the evening. They crossed the street and found a patch of grass under a large tree, its leaves rustling softly in the breeze. They settled down, Olivia stretching her legs out while Lucas leaned back on his hands, a relaxed smile on his face. "This is nice," he said, glancing up at the sky where stars began to sprinkle through the fading twilight. "I could get used to this." "Me too," Olivia said, her heart racing. "It's like the world slowing down just for us." "Exactly," he replied, his gaze fixed on her now, a hint of mischief sparking in his eyes. "But you know what would make it even better?" "What's that?" she asked, tilting her head, curiosity piqued. "More ice cream," he said with a cheeky grin. "I mean, why stop at one flavor? We could make a whole event out of it." Olivia laughed, her heart soaring at his playful spirit. "You're making a compelling argument, but we might end up with a serious sugar rush. Isn't that the point?" He shot back, his expression earnest. "Life's too short to hold back on ice cream. If we're going to embrace the moment, let's go all in." "All right, you've convinced me," she said, her voice brimming with excitement. "Let's find the next best ice cream shop and indulge like there's no tomorrow." "Perfect," he said, rising to his feet and offering her a hand. "Shall we?" Olivia took his hand, feeling the warmth of his grip envelop her, and as they walked together, she felt the night stretching ahead of them, full of promise and adventure. The air was charged with possibility, and she knew that this was just the beginning of something more, a connection that had the power to change her life. As they made their way through the streets, Olivia felt a sense of exhilaration coursing through her. The city lit up around them, casting a warm glow that mirrored the excitement in her heart. "What's your dream?" Lucas asked suddenly, breaking the comfortable silence as they walked, and Olivia felt her breath catch in her throat. "My dream," she echoed, surprised by the question. "I guess I've always wanted to be a storyteller, whether through marketing or writing, to create something that resonates with people." He nodded, his expression thoughtful. "That's beautiful. I can see you doing something great with that. You have this way of seeing the world that draws people in." "Thank you," she said, warmth flooding her cheeks. "What about you? What's your dream?" Lucas paused, a contemplative look crossing his features. "I want to build something meaningful, not just properties or wealth, but a legacy that impacts people's lives positively. I want to create spaces where communities can thrive, where people connect." His words struck a chord within her, resonating deeply in a way that felt profound. "That's an incredible aspiration," Olivia said, her voice sincere. "I think you're already on your way to making that happen." He turned to her, his eyes gleaming with appreciation. "Thanks, Olivia. That means a lot coming from you." Their eyes locked, and in that moment she felt a sense of clarity wash over her. This connection was more than just a chance encounter. It was an intertwining of paths, a shared journey opening before them. As they continued their walk, the city pulsing with life around them and the night air cool against their skin, Olivia wondered what the future held. The possibilities seemed endless, and as Lucas grinned at her, she felt an undeniable sense of hope. A hope that perhaps this evening was just the beginning of a beautiful story waiting to unfold.